Hey guys, Brian here. Welcome back to Direct Admission. And on this week's episode, we have Tim Macleod, the full-time flipper. He talks about how he was able to quit his nursing job by replacing his income from flipping couches. It is one of the best interviews that we've done yet so far because he pretty much gives you the blueprint on how to do it yourself. So before we get into it, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And let's jump right into the interview. Hey guys, Brian here. Welcome back. So we have Tim Macleod here. He used to be a nurse. He's doing his own self-employment thing, and it's in a very unique way, which I've been following you for a while, Tim. And I remember you used to have nurse on your Instagram, but now you don't have it. So if you don't mind, can you tell the audience a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, for sure. So I was licensed to start nursing in 2015, and I got a comfy job at a nursing home in a small town. And we started to put roots down there. I got an apartment, and I was married young, and my wife and I moved up. I was kind of carrying the financial load while she was finishing up teachers college. And then the day that she graduated, she wanted kids. No, she wanted kids already, but I'm very confident that we conceived our baby before we went out for sushi to celebrate her graduating. And so we never had that dual income, no kids season. We went straight to single income. And that was good to have like a foundation of frugality, but there was only so much frugality you could do before it became very apparent that we had an income problem, not a money spending problem.
You live up in Toronto or somewhere around there?
So I live where the Toronto people keep their cottages. So in Muskoka,
the suburbs.
Well, there's lakes everywhere. It's pretty rural. It's some nice cottages up here, but the rest is all just like blue collar.
And from what I hear about Canada, the real estate is not cheap.
No, it's, well, nothing like Vancouver, but yeah, no, it's pretty unforgiving right now.
And when you got into nursing, how much were you making?
I think I cracked 50 the first year. Long-term care wasn't the high end of the pay scale. Like if I wanted money, the money was in danger pay in the mental health.
Really?
For criminally insane was you could make 100K as an RPN if you'd stay on the part-time list and in lieu of benefits and then just grind out overtime. There were people making 6 digits as an RPN, but I was, so in Canada it's RPN and RN, so I just had a year diploma, not a 4-year degree. So there was only so much money I could make. And then so when money was tight, the prospect of going back to school to upgrade education, it was like, so I gotta work full-time and be a full-time student, or just like really accumulate debt. Also, I could make an extra $1,000 a month. It's like, I don't need that. I need an extra $2,000 a month now.
Like the place you worked at didn't offer like tuition assistance or anything, like if you were to go back to school?
Yeah, probably.
But it just wasn't in the cards for you kind of thing.
Oh, just the thought of like, I wasn't having fun. 5 years was lots for nursing. In the beginning, nursing was just like, how can I make as much money as my brothers who were framing, but without having cold hands and working outside in the winter? Because I worked for a bit. It was misery. So nursing was sweet where I could start adulting right away, but it became very apparent that I needed more, especially if I had a wife who wanted to start pumping out babies.
That's true. How many kids do you have?
2 and a vasectomy. All done.
That might be in the cards for me as well. We have 2. My wife's like, there's a third. Do you want a third? Because like some of our friends are popping out a third. I'm like,
we would have for sure had a third by now if there wasn't a vasectomy. But when she was struggling with nursing and sleeping with number 2, I just planted that seed of just like, we could be done. This could be it. Whatever. When she had a moment of just like, I think I'm done. Just booked it. Got it done.
And that's one of the, just transition to something else. Like that's one of the things that really got me into your page. I've always liked funny people. And then when you were also a nurse too, and doing like a side hustle that became something better for you, like I really like the humor that you have in a lot of your posts. And I remember, I can't even find it right now, I'm scrolling through, but I did see a lot of the stuff where you talked about nursing and then you're like, you said it wasn't for you, you weren't making enough. So were you doing the main thing I see here is the couch flipping. Were you doing that the whole time during nursing?
So 2019 is when we were pregnant with our second. We had a second pregnancy. And we were just at capacity. Like I was making my wife a single mom because I had to slam out at least 2 or 3 doubles per pay period. Yeah. So those 16-hour days, she essentially was a single mom. And then we were pregnant with our second, and we actually miscarried. And
I'm sorry to hear that.
It was devastating, but there was this like, there was this element of relief of just like, dude, you were not ready. I was not ready for that. And so I not only was sprinting and scurrying to figure out how to make ends meet, but then there was also this element of us being absolutely broken and coming home in the evening and then just like comfort watching shows like we used to do. Like the normal was just like something dark about it. And so couches was like the most beautiful little distraction. And I had this 4-cylinder Mazda, and I pitched the idea to my brother about how I should buy a truck because flipping phones and iPads for like $100 a couple times a week, and got the hang of flipping and the negotiations and stuff like that. But then I had this hypothesis that if I had the ability to pick up big stuff, I would have my own little private fishing pond of profit.
Yeah.
Because when you attach a service component to the pickup and a service component to the sale, which is big stuff that requires muscles or trailers and trucks and stuff. And my brother said, yeah, that's a great idea, but I don't want to see you go $8,000 into debt starting it. Why don't you borrow my trailer, put a hitch on your Mazda, and then just make paying for the trailer hitch the first goal. That was flawless. That was a flawless plan. So I did that. Put a $400 hitch on the Mazda, borrowed the equipment, and I thought I was going to be doing like washers and dryers. I even had the appliance dolly for it. But the first at the trailer, the only thing that was available was a free couch. And I was like, well, I want to use the trailer, so let's go get this couch. Brought it home. I think it needed like a damp cloth scrub and maybe a stitch or something like that. And then I moved the thing the next day for $280.
Oh, wow.
And
so free to $280.
Yep. And a net nursing shift, like after tax, was like $150 or something for an 8-hour shift.
Oh, wow.
I was like, man, every couch is just a replaced shift. So if I do 5 couches, that's 5 shifts I don't have. And so it was just simple math like that, where in the beginning it was just like I would, for an evening, and it was sweet too, because it was, the supply was 40 minutes down the highway in Barrie, where my in-laws live. So it was the perfect little, we just go visit the in-laws, get a free dinner, find a couch, go home, jammy the kid on the way home. And it was just like cheating in all aspects.
Saving money, making money.
Yeah, it was beautiful. I was just exchanging time and kilometers for profit, and that profit relieved my burden to go work a shift. And so I throttled back from full-time to part-time.
Okay.
I would have quit so much sooner. There was too many ladies in my life. They were like, no.
How was that conversation first with your boss about saying like, I think I'm done here?
She knew it was coming because the last thing I ever wanted to do was accept a shift. Like I was trying to get rid of all my shifts. And I remember having a conversation with her. She's like, how many do you want? I was like, ideally 0. And she's like, okay, well, casual is 2 a pay period or 4 a pay period. She's like, if you're not doing that, we have to let
you go.
And I was just like, okay, 4 then, I guess. And then it wasn't until early COVID, I got swabbed one time and walked straight to the scheduling office and said, I am putting in a verbal 2 weeks right now. Like, it was just like, sorry, you want to stick what in my face? And then I did it, and it was like, I would rather have a basketball thrown at my face than the like early COVID swabs. Like eventually they're like there,
all the way up in there.
We're going to scrape your brain. And so I got swabbed one time and it was just like, all done. That's it. I'm done. And my job performance was like down the tubes too. Like I did not care about my job. Loved the residents and stuff like that, but I wasn't in the ICU. I was long-term care. Like I cried Tylenol for old people, and so it's just like, man.
And you had probably like a ridiculous amount of patients too, just going up and down pushing meds.
Yeah, 30. It was a big med pass, but it was comfy, and like I could do it with my eyes closed, but I just did not care anymore.
Do enough just to get paid and not get fired, right? That's
right. Yeah. They were paying me just enough not to quit, and I was doing just enough to not get fired. Just a tough environment for someone who wants to provide value, you know? But, it just wasn't my lane anymore. I needed out. And plus I had the income fully replaced. Like, so July 2019 I started, and I think I did $3,000 my first month. And
wow, the first month?
Yeah, I was slinging them quick. And then August, I think like $6,000 in sales.
Holy.
So the money was quick. And then I started to specialize into like premium leather. And I realized there was a couple different like milestones and ahas of realization of just like, okay, so let's not do anything that needs to be cleaned, because that's slowed down. I would
Yeah.
have to clean it, and then it would have to dry before I could take photos and videos. And so staying patient and paying, I stopped doing free couches that needed to be cleaned, and I started paying for things that were just people hit deadlines. And so
Like
it went,
people needed to move or something like
yeah,
that, and then
I realized that there was the customers, sorry, the sellers were a customer in a sense as well. They
mhm.
needed my service. They hit a deadline. And so it was just, instead of lowballing everybody, it was like finding out deadlines and stuff like that. And it was just like a day trader would watch stocks, I would watch couches, and I knew people's deadlines. And I just got okay with driving 2 hours to pick up a couch.
'Cause, like, you're already used to working 16-hour days, so what's, like, a 2-hour drive to pick up
Yeah.
something? And you'd
Correct.
still
Audio.
probably make as much. How are you finding these couches, like Facebook Marketplace or
Yep.
Craigslist, stuff like that?
Yep. So in Canada, our Craigslist is called Kijiji.
GG.
And I think that probably 80% of my purchases come from Kijiji and 80% of my sales come from Facebook. And I think that's
Oh,
because Facebook has like the impulse buy component to it, where if you're on Kijiji
yeah.
looking for couches, you were looking for couches, but the Facebook algorithm will throw a couch in your feed after a silly video or something. And it's just like, oh, damn,
That's
he can
true.
drop it off.
Yeah, that's a huge service of you dropping off a 50 to 100-pound thing or a 200-pound thing. I've been watching your videos. You're literally doing it by yourself.
Yeah,
Just
yeah,
putting it right on your back and just placing it wherever.
they're big lifts. Yeah, because most people fit into a category of either they need a couch or they would get a new couch. They wouldn't mind a new couch if the price was right and if it was convenient enough. And
Mhm.
so most of my sales, I think, are impulse buys. But more and more now that I've been doing it with the same page on profile, like most times when I drop off a couch, I'll hear, "I've been watching your stuff forever," and it's like, nice, thanks for your patience.
So is it impulse buy and also wanting to support you?
Yeah, yeah, impulse to just like, oh gosh, he got one. Babe, look at this one. This will work. But yeah, it's a pretty captive audience. I've got 1,200 followers on Facebook Marketplace,
Oh,
and that's just
wow.
from a call to action in every one of my listings. I have a keyboard shortcut, so when I hit FF space, it'll expand into follow me on Marketplace. I'm always buying and selling couches. So even if that
Oh,
couch wasn't for them, now they're in the queue. They're watching.
I didn't even know you could do that on Facebook Marketplace.
Follow.
Like, doing, like, big follows or, like, a call to action type stuff like that?
Yeah, so yeah, there's the follow aspect on Marketplace, and yeah, that call to action has been clutch for building that list. But at the same time, why would Meta care to promote my stuff? They're not
Mm,
making any money on me.
yeah,
So like 1,200 followers, cool, but I'm not getting 1,200 hits on every listing I post, right? So
yeah.
I think that this year is to build my own list somewhere. I think that it would be potent to have
Like your
text.
own website kinda thing?
No, I still want to use Facebook and Kijiji just to like have an active roster of just like here's what's available, because I don't want to man a website or pay someone to
Yeah.
make a website, but to have it as a text blast. Like if I had those
Mm.
1,200 people with like a Mailchimp, um,
Oh, you're just sending it out there on the email.
I could send a picture of a pickup, like a fresh kill. I'm in the driveway before I load the thing, before I load it, tarp it, take it home, and then post a photo. Like if I could have that thing to 1,200 people before it even goes to the locker, sometimes it probably wouldn't even go to the locker. They'd be like, "Oh, that one, yeah, bring that by."
Yeah, bring that right to you, so you're
Yep,
just transferring it, and then you're getting paid.
yep. So I feel like I've hit a ceiling a little bit with monthly sales. I need to sprint to do 20,000 a month in sales, but I
Wow.
did that 5 months this year, where it was just,
Wow.
this
Holy.
this month is coaches, and that'll be with a gross profit of like 12 to 15. So that's just cost of goods. That's
Yeah.
sale minus cost of goods is gross profit. But then quarterly HST is a kick in the pants. Fixed wing
HST is the Canadian tax, right?
at 13% sales tax. So once I cracked $30,000 in sales, which was December the first year, like July to
Mhm.
December, I did 30, and then it was congratulations, now you get to pay taxes. And I don't charge tax on the sale. I pay the tax.
Mhm.
I just think it's bullshit that people have to pay HST on something that already had HST paid on it. It's
Yeah.
just because I move so much that I have to pay it or I have to collect it, but I do tax included. So if someone sells me a couch, or sorry, if someone buys a couch for $1,000, I'm only keeping what 887 or whatever the math is. I don't know.
And do you keep track of that, like on like an Excel sheet, just so you know how much taxes you'll have to pay at the end of the, well, at that quarterly, at the end of the
Yeah,
quarter?
two different places. So I have a G sheet like Excel, but the Google version. I've got a G sheet of all of my sales, and that's just super simple math. Like if you ever see a screenshot of sales on my
hmm
posts, it's
Yeah, I've
that,
seen it. Yeah.
and that's just purchase price, sale price, gross profit, and that's just for me. That's like me keeping score. But the
hmm
actual math is QuickBooks.
For taxes. Yeah. Yeah.
QuickBooks, and I have a bookkeeper who does most of it. I just do invoice the sales and expense the cost of goods, and then
hmm
all my credit card and my bank stuff is linked, and then she'll go through Costco gas,
Yeah.
all that stuff.
Everything, all the expenses for your business, pretty much too.
Yep. Just do what I do best and write checks for the rest. Like I'm not learning bookkeeping. There's no way.
No, definitely not. You're too busy to do it, and why would you want it? That's
Yeah. Getting to the next level for me is delegation, I think.
mhm.
Besides the clever stuff of like increasing turnover, like the text blast or something like that. But I just want to replace myself.
Like fully out of it, like someone does the pickups and all that for you, kind of thing, like
Yeah,
that
at
type
some
of
point.
delegation.
So I also want to finish. I'm at 600 career sales, 600,000. I would love to do a mill solo.
That's a huge goal, and just to know that you did that yourself, be
Yeah,
like,
it's
yeah,
a dope
I
flex,
did that.
and especially to do it with my same setup. Like I have a V6 SUV, a 2009 Highlander, and then a really good
hmm
aluminum utility trailer. And I think that's such a clutch setup, and it's sick to just have a no excuses story of just like, you don't need a truck. Like
hmm
I could literally do this exact same by borrowing my dad's SUV and getting a U-Haul trailer. Like
hmm
there's no reason to not start. You don't need a truck, and it's lean and mean. But yeah, man, if I had an F-250 with a custom flatbed covered and then like a 7x14 enclosed trailer,
hmm
it will be a stupid change to the game when it's just line up 5 pickups in the city,
Yeah,
take
exactly.
take a diesel truck down, fill a mobile storage locker, bring it home, and then pay some punk to run them in like a V6 would be sweet.
That would be pretty
One day,
awesome.
but I also just kind of want to finish out. So I don't know. It's a coin toss.
So you start. How long ago did you start this again?
July 2019 is when I borrowed my brother's trailer and never gave it back.
So pretty much like almost $100,000 a year since
Yes,
600K
30
in.
the first year. I think 100 in sales, over 100 in sales every year. But then this year, my goal was last year I did 137,000 in sales, and my goal was 200, and that scared me, and I didn't really believe that I could do it. But then came out swinging big dicks in January. Did 21,000, and I thought, and January is usually a slow month, but it was like a pre-vacation sprint because we were gone in February, and so that was sweet to just be like, no, dude, you can do 20 in the winters. Like, stop buying your own excuses. It's there.
hmm
Yeah.
What was the mindset switch for you to do that? Because like, well, obviously you have a very strong mindset to leave a stable nursing job to do this, and then now choosing all like the numbers and all that, being like, what flipped the switch to for you to be as motivated as you are?
Autonomy.
hmm
Am I allowed to swear on this?
Yeah, hell yeah, dude.
There's the movie The Gambler. Have you ever seen that?
I think I have.
It's no good, but you should watch this one YouTube clip where what's his name? I don't know, is explaining the position of fuck you. And he's talking about how Mark Wahlberg's an idiot for giving up his being 2 million up. And he's saying
hmm
any dummy in the world knows what to do. You own your house, you get a Japanese shitbox car, and that puts you at the rest of your life at a level of fuck you. It's just like someone wants you to do something, fuck you. And there was just so much of my life that was the opposite of fuck you, which is slavery. Where it was like, no, Tim, you got to go to work. No, Tim, you got to listen to Teresa. You gotta take instructions from that girl. And so much of it was just like, fuck you. I want out of this.
I want out. Yeah.
Yeah. And just to have full freedom is nuts. Like to wake up when I want. This summer was sweet too. I was a member at a really affordable golf course and schmoozed with the GM and got permission to go before. Like I never booked a tee time all summer. I'd just show up
That's
at like
awesome.
5:30 in the morning, play 18 by myself in like less than 2 hours, go pick up a couch, drop off 2 couches. It's like I did $1,500 in a day. I played golf, and I'm home with my wife and family doing whatever I want. Like it's
You're living the dream.
time freedom is pretty hard to beat.
Yeah, that is legit living the dream right there. You're doing what you want on your own time.
Yeah, it's tits. But there's still an element of days I gotta go hook up a trailer with frozen hands, and like there's still an element of just like, nah, Tim, you're still like now the bank is my boss still, right? Like I still got a mortgage. I don't have a Teresa in my life, but I don't have full autonomy yet.
How on board was your wife with you leaving your job at first? Because I know that's like you said like there was a lot of people in your life saying don't quit, don't quit.
Yeah.
Of course, like when you get married, for me at least, my wife is my boss. So it's like,
yeah.
How was the support on that end?
So I didn't have a green light to quit my job. I held on to my job probably 18 months to 2 years longer than I would have wanted to. 2019, 2020. No, I did a year of COVID, maybe. Was it 2021? I don't know. But the income was fully replaced, and we had crushed some debt. And what we were working towards was home ownership, and we were scurrying a down payment together. And also the banks don't like self-employed income as much as in Canada. It's T4 income is paychecks from a job, and then a T1 general for self-employed. And the banks don't like T1 income as much as T4 income. And so there was that element of just like, no, keep your reported income from nursing because it'll help for approval. But it's like, okay, but it's less than half as much money. Like, do we really care about the style of money when it's so much less? And it wasn't until I became a very bad nurse that it was like, no, it's time to leave.
Time to go.
Just did not care anymore.
And for the couch flipping, do you know someone that made it famous on YouTube is Ryan Pineda? Do you watch any of his stuff?
So when I started, people started sending me links to his stuff, and I thought that was cool. I kind of think, no, I was about to say that Ryan fumbled the bag. There's no way Ryan fumbled the bag. But it was cool to see that he did it, and that was like his exit, but that he didn't make himself the couch guy. And there was still crazy opportunity. There's still nobody doing it. I'm really confident that I'm in the 1% for couches.
100%. Like I tried like researching other people on Instagram and all that, and I'm like, you're the only guy that pretty much consistently pops up, other than Ryan, just because his following is just so big.
I saw some guys on YouTube, but their model was like warranty recalls, and like they were getting it from box stores. They were getting the rejects from box stores, and then there was stuff that someone else didn't want. And nobody was like, nah, I'm shopping from impatient rich people. It's kind of
that's such a great business model.
Oh, it's sick.
Because you're getting the high quality stuff that they probably hardly sat on.
Yep, big time. And no one's teaching it yet, so that's untapped.
So for buying all the couches that you got, did you just use the money that you were making to do it? Like from all the flipping that you were doing?
Borrowed funds, actually. It's kind of like the tiniest little version of the Burr method in real estate, where you're using other people's money and then you locate it and get your funds back and then go from there. And I would not be doing as well if I didn't have a line of credit. I have like a $20,000 overdraft basically. So there's never a time where it's like, shoot, I can't go pick that one up right now. I always have the funds to go pick it up, and I always have the space to store it.
Is it a business line of credit, or you have like a HELOC on your house, or?
Nope, it was just a personal line of credit. From once I became a homeowner, then all of the banks that I was with was like, yo, maybe he wants a new kitchen or something. So I was like, you fit into a different category, and so you get pre-approved for different products and stuff like that. And so they wanted me to use it to get a fishing boat or a kitchen and be a slave.
Throw yourself into more debt. Yeah,
exactly. But I didn't use it for that. I used it for flips.
That's smart. That's like what I tried telling my coworkers and all that too. I was like, if you have like a home, or even like getting credit cards with like 0% interest for like 18 months, you could technically get a free loan as long as you're using it to do something to make money. You could pay that loan really back, and now you have an asset that generates you money.
Yep.
But it goes over a lot of people's heads where there's like, what? You could get free money as long as you pay it back by a certain time, and then you still get to keep the thing you bought?
Yeah. Couches are like giant coupons. Like it's this big $800 thing that only cost me $150, and I just need to find someone who wants it, and I get to redeem it for cash, kind of thing. It's just this little sidestep to
keep it going. So I know couches is your main thing. Do you do other type of flips as well?
My audience is very couch specific, and I just hate everything else. The other day I did a bunk bed. Someone on Instagram actually said, "Hey, I'm in Toronto. I've got this really nice bunk bed." And I said yes, because the brand Restoration Hardware is
huge,
bougie.
Expensive.
Yeah. And I went and got that, and I was spinning Allen keys for 40 minutes in a house by myself. Just like, this is why I do couches. Like, I would be on my way home already. And now I've got.
And then you have to remember how to put it back together.
Oh yeah. Fortunately, I was smart and did photos and videos before I disassembled it. There's nothing to see. I don't have to show it to anybody. It's just ready to go. But couches is my favorite, and I get offered lots of like china cabinets and like hutches and stuff like that. I'm just like, please take it. But it's like nobody wants it. It's lost on my generation. Nobody has china plates. No. You're waiting for some white girl who wants to do a DIY restoration and make an espresso bar. And a lot of that stuff, I have to choose whether I want to break the furniture or break my body when I put it down. Right. Really safely clean and jerk and get it back to the ground safely.
Nice. Clean and jerk. You do a lot of Olympic lifts?
Never,
but you learned it with not a barbell. So like a lot of the other stuff you have on your Instagram is a lot of just like personal finance stuff, which is also pretty cool to see. You're trying to teach people to be better with their money.
That is how it started, was because that's all I had to offer in the beginning was frugality. And also from being a pussy and not wanting to talk about couches, because I thought that everybody would want to sell couches and that I would create competition and snuff myself out. And so I was teaching people about stuff they didn't care about. And that's why my page didn't grow for so long. I got lucky with a couple posts that would crack a mill just because they were funny or something like that. Or typically if a post hits 1 million, it's because the comment section became a war zone. And so that happened a few times. And so that kind of kept me interested enough, because if I never cracked 1,000 followers, I would have quit a long time ago. But to just get lucky with a couple posts, and then I was sitting at like 8,000 followers and just slowly atrophying that audience. And then I just stopped caring, and I just wanted to talk about couches. I didn't.
And niching down helped you get to pretty much 18,000 followers. That's a pretty big following.
Yeah, and it's been a big change. I used to have like a 50-50 split of gender, and maybe even lean a little more towards the ladies when it was talking about frugality and stuff like that. But then when it became more about boosting income, now my audience is 75% men. And it's cool to see. It's in the beginning so my page used to be, I don't know if you were there for that, it was Fort Knox Finances, and it was like defensive spending or something. And it sucked, and that's why that's why it never grew. And then I had that video in the summertime, which might be the reason that caught your attention, of the Costco bikes. Did you see that one?
Yeah, I did see that one. Yep.
Is that when you started following? Because
I'm pretty sure that's it. And then I just started keep looking at what he was doing.
And that was because the comment section was an absolute war zone. Just people hated me for that.
Yeah, I just hate you.
Oh, so much hatred in the comments for that. And it was end of season bikes that were about to be pulled and go to liquidation. And I wanted to expense a drive to town to pick up my wife noodles. So I brought the trailer and bought 5 bikes, and then listed them on Facebook, and then made a good video to that Pharaoh Munch song. And the video did really well, and then my audience grew, and I still had that handle, Fort Knox Finances, and I was like, no, this is the time. And as soon as I changed my handle to the Full-Time Flipper, and then my my conversion from views to followers just blew up, because it's like, oh, this is like, I don't know, Fort Knox Finances was a stupid handle.
I'm surprised the Full-Time Flipper wasn't taken though.
I had put there's a little girl, there's a little gymnastics girl, Full-Time Flipper, and what was the other one? I was going to be Flip Life, and same thing. It was like this like tumbling page. But the Full-Time Flipper's there. But I think I'd love to shed that eventually, and just be Tim Macleod.
Is that the next step for you? So like, when you're able to start delegating, what's the next business venture? Because obviously if you're removing yourself from this, is there another thing you want to get into? Because if it could if this could technically run itself,
Courses,
then courses. Yep.
courses and
I
coaching.
hear the education section could be huge for everybody,
Oh, dude, digital product is cheating. You make it
right?
once and you can sell it forever.
That's true. Some evergreen content that you could just consistently sell with you not having to actually sell it. Like just
Yep.
put it on and be like, you talk about it every now and then, especially with a larger and larger following.
Yep. And it's ready. My first one is the 6-figure sofa slinger. That's my first course.
I love it, dude.
It's ready. I just need to, I'm tripping on the finish line. It's ready enough for launch. I'm going to redo all the lessons with higher production value later, but it was just an iPhone Max with, and I'd take 5-minute videos and then I would run it through the captions app and it would trim out all the blank space. And then I put 45 lessons on how to make 20K a month selling couches. And it's ready to go. I just need to make a polished value video, and then it's good to go. And that'll be my first course. And I just want to have that ready because I'm about to enter a heavy season of pumping content for couches, and it's inevitably going to attract an audience, like it's already started to. And I just want that ready for the people who are like, hey, I hate my job. I want out right now. How do I get started? I want to just have it's here, ready to go. And I don't even care about, I don't want people's money right now. I want people's stories. And so I think I'm going to have it stupid affordable where you don't even have to think about it for a day. It's just like $60. Heck yeah. For a 1-month ride
For
along.
potentially, I could get 20K a month if I do this right. Hell yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And I want to be in the impulse buy price range. And I've got lots of other stuff I want to teach. Keeping people off dealerships is my favorite thing. I hate hearing
New cars.
Oh, it drives me nuts. And it's so easy to just find the best Toyota in the province and not have.
It's true.
car
I still
payments.
have my 2004 Honda Pilot sitting in my garage with 250K miles.
Love Pilots, man. Yeah, Highlander, same thing. I got mine at 200K for $9,500, and I've done $500,000 in sales with it.
And it's pulling.
Oh, it's the best. I love Highlander. The budget Forerunners. I'd recommend it for anybody.
That's the thing that I know we're getting close to the time you got to hang up here, but that's the thing I was telling a lot of my coworkers too. Obviously, I'm still a nurse and nurse in New York City, so we make good money, but a lot of nurses, they want the newest, shiniest car. And I'm just like, but why? Like, once you drive it off the lot and it's worth half, and usually those super luxury cars, the maintenance is astronomical. Like, why don't you just get that Honda Toyota and just buy it once and then you have it forever?
Yeah, it's a bummer when people can't get their self-esteem from something productive. But I love driving a 13-year-old Toyota and just not worrying about anything. So,
That's true. It's like, as long as you maintain it, oil change, alignment, tires.
Yep.
I think that's it. And then you run it till it dies and you buy the next one.
yeah, like even when I'm baller, it's gonna be an 8-year-old Lexus. Like you'll never
it's still a Toyota.
You'll never see me pull out a Benz.
Because that was my aha moment for cars. Was when I got out of school, I was one of those people. Got a 325 BMW. It lasted me like a solid 8 years. So the spark plug started shooting out every like 3-4 months, and I was like, I'm spending more money on this car than it's worth.
Yeah.
And then just got rid of it, pulled out the Honda Pilot again, and that's it.
Yeah. Like when you've got an 8-figure net worth, drive whatever you want. If a Range Rover makes you happy and you want to drive a MacBook, that's cool. But until you get to that point, get the car that makes sense. Anyway, so Dealer Dodger is going to be a course that comes out this year too.
So I know you got to get out of here very soon. So if anyone wanted to find you, how could they find you?
The FullTime Flipper on Instagram, and that's it for now. One day I'll be on all the socials, but I don't want to do it myself. That's something I want to pay some kid to do.
And the last question I got for you, if someone wanted to do what you do, what advice would you give them?
Don't get a truck. V6 with a trailer is 2 trucks for half the price. Find a place to store them as soon as possible so you're not limited for picking things up. Like, you don't want to be pinched with your fully stocked at 2. It's nice to have a place to move it. Just play hot potato and make mistakes really fast.
Mistakes really fast. I love it. And sorry, tag on question. If people wanted to quit their job, what would they need to do to be comfortable doing it?
Fully replace the income, pay off stupid debt, and maybe have 1 month buffer.
That's it. Tim, I really appreciate you waking up super early with me and doing this.
Yeah, buddy.
Hopefully I could have this video out by Thursday, and
Cool.
appreciate you again. Hopefully we could do this again.
Yeah, buddy. Nice to meet you. Take care.
Nice to meet you. Thanks, Tim.